Welcome into the February edition of the Football Family and Food podcast. I'm Bob Johnson as we get together with head coach of your Ottawa University Braves, Nick Davis. We left off at the end of the last month's podcast with a little bit of a cliffhanger talking about signing day, and that's what we are going to cover in this edition as Ottawa University has several signees or letters of intent that have gone out that are out for students. And joining us to talk about it is head coach Nick Davis. Coach, thank you for joining us. You have been a very busy man.
Yeah, we have done a lot of visits. I think we are on currently. I think we have a visit tomorrow for families, but we are on visit number 31 from December to January. So quite a few visits, met quite a few families. Kind of winding down. We had some kids that were, basketball players or wrestlers, or maybe ran into some bad weather or couldn't find flights. So we have a few visits here the next few Fridays and a few of the next Mondays here this month, and that'll really be everyone that we wanted to get on campus in December and January. And that number will probably get close to about 150 individuals actually coming on campus. So, we're hitting, roughly about a third of the people who visit our campus decide they want to be a part of our family. So I think that's a pretty good number.
And for people who have not gone through this process before, what goes into a visit briefly for a prospective student slash football player and their family that comes along with?
Yeah, we try to give them at least in a 5 hour session a really nice snippet of what it's like to be at Ottawa University. We go through a presentation, talk to them about our culture, and we get an opportunity for all of our coaches to kind of introduce themselves. So that's about a 40-minute process, and I actually get up and talk. I think that's unique. Not a lot of head coaches wait 40 minutes in the most important visit of their whole entire signing classes to speak. But we're big on be over me here, so I get up the last 20 minutes and kind of tell my story. And what we, I think, do also unique is I just don't get up there and say, this is what I want. Throughout our whole presentation with our coaches, each coach kind of handles a little chunk of our culture piece. So by the time it gets to me, they don't have to hear me talk for an hour. So each coach kind of owns their little role in our presentation. And then I think we have one of the most phenomenal food service providers and cafeteria experiences for small college athletics. So definitely a shout out to the people. All right, there in the Gibson Center and what they do, provide an amazing experience to our student athletes. They do a great job, and I had numerous members, family members, or athletes end up telling us that their favorite part about the campus is our cafeteria and our food. So we get a chance to take them over there and get them around our players. I think that's really important. And we always tell our players, if you feel like this guy isn't a good fit for our program, let us know and we'll stop recruiting them. And then we were able to take them on campus, show them what the dorm life would be, what academic experience would be, and then get them into the phenomenal facilities that we have on our campus, whether that be, athletic facilities, our weight room, our locker room. And then we finish up with how they can fit with in our football program as offense, defense, or special teams player with our coordinators talking to them. And then, financially, I think it's really important that they understand, get a chance to talk to me about what it's going to cost for the next 4 years and what our players do to make it more affordable. And then just I get a good feel that they love football and they really want to be here for 4 years, and they just don't want to commit and play for a season and transfer. In this day, I think it's really important. Again, I have nothing against the kid. who, if we're not the right fit after a year, transferring. But I also don't want to bring in a bunch of players that are already in their mind or hey, I'm going to leave after a year. So we're looking for individuals that want to graduate from Ottawa University, and that's kind of what we do over a 5 hour span. And we don't have pretty girls show them on tour. Our coaching staff is involved in every aspect of the day.
You have athletes from 13 different states that stretch from coast to coast to that are signed to come and play. Uh, you talk about it's a long process with these visits. Uh, what have you heard the most from these prospective players, and that has sold them on coming to Ottawa?
I think a lot of them have just the ones who end up committing have just restated the things that we value within our football program. We always say all these programs have really good cultures, but if you don't agree with that culture, you're not going to fit in. But if you're big on family atmosphere, you're big on mindset, you're big on being held accountable, then we could be the program for you. But if those are three things that you don't want to be a part of, you shouldn't come to Ottawa University.
As you look through this class, there's a general theme that uh, that this football program went after. One was leaders on and off the field, and also students that excel academically. Also, uh, was that intentional on your part? And if so, walk me through the purpose in that.
Yeah, I think, we track on our system whether a kid is a captain. We obviously are tracking graduate or grade point averages. So I think it ends up being designed that maybe a certain coach attracts those kids, but maybe we attract a bunch of leaders um, from their high school teams. Now, a lot of most really good high school football players are generally the captains of their team. So I think you're going to end up with a bunch of good leaders just because maybe there's five kids from that high school team that are going to go play college football. Well, probably four of them are going to be captains, at some point. So that's something that we look at. I think that's something that's very important. And then, I think great student athletes is also something that we're trying to get. So that's definitely something that, hey, I looked up the stat afterward. I was like, man, this is really impressive. But that's something through the process that, hey, this kid's a good football player, but he's also the captain of his football team. That's stuff that we look at for sure.
And is that just more looking at the character along with the potential ability for a player to come to OU? Is it because it seems like, and we have talked about in the past, that there's a little bit of a similarity to Rose Holman when with recruiting process there, that there were a lot of on and off the field leaders, strong academics, and that. So it was that kind of. Are you kind of taking that um and instituting that here, and is that just because of what you were able to see at Rose Holman and how that worked out?
Well, I think one is I really, if I'm going to spend, all the hours each week with our coaching staff and our players, I want to spend that with a bunch of guys that I can enjoy, a bunch of guys that are like mind individual. Now, we don't always have to always be the same, but at the end of the day, if you're a leader or want to be a leader and you want to work hard in the classroom, you may not have to be a rocket scientist. You could be a physical education major, but you take great pride in your classroom. Well, that's something that like I like. I like to take great pride in things that I've accomplished or things that I'm trying to get accomplished. So I definitely, when you're recruiting college athletes, I think you want a bunch of guys you want to be around. And if you can recruit a bunch of those guys, and maybe in this signing class, maybe not every single person is the type of guy that would be a Rose Holman guy or what we think of an Ottawa University Braves guy. But if you get enough of them, they'll transform those other guys that aren't fitting in into being a Ottawa University Brave. Or that guy will find another spot that he could finish his career. So I think that's huge. And in year 3 of being a head football coach here, almost the majority of our roster are guys that we brought in for this vision of what our football program is. The only guys on our team that my staff has not recruited is our seniors that are finishing up their career this next year. So that is really the only amount, and then we have some juniors that were already kind of signed before I got here. I was able to coach those guys, but we're almost to the part where it's all of our guys, and I think we've done it the right way, and it showed. I think with last year's results out on the field.
Is it fair to say, when going after those students, that that kind of mentality not only helps as you kind of brought up with maybe raising the level for others on the team, but also uh, it makes it easier to coach, for them to learn the playbook and to perform on the field.
Yeah, I think there's all of that, and again, in this class we have variety. We got 4.0 guys, and then we had some guys that probably could have done a lot better in high school. So you take an average, and it ends up being a 3.31, which I think is a good starting point. And we have potential academic All-Americans on our rosters, and we have some guys that need to probably step up their study habits, or they won't be in college very long. So we definitely will have our work cut out for us. And we've had guys that struggled in high school. Christian Cogs is a guy I wouldn't say he struggled, but he's a way better college student than what he was as a high school student in terms of his grade point average. Not that he was a bad high school student, but he's just improved. And I'm super proud of him, and he'll graduate. He has got a great grade point average, and I'm sure we have kids on our team that were 4.0 high school students that are sitting here at a 2.8 or something here at Ottawa University, and maybe have not applied themselves as good as what they probably are capable of. So it's a constant struggle, but the more and more guys that you think can answer the call on your team, the more guys I want.
You were looking to fill program needs in a sense. Did uh, so I would assume that it wasn't just going out and trying to find the best athlete available. There were specific areas that you all were targeting when it came to the recruiting process.
Yeah, offensive line. We've always tried to be, we want to be around 135 football players here on our football program, and that gets you about 5 deep in every position across the board. And really, the 3 years we've been here, we've never been able to be 5 deep across our offensive line. So that was a huge area. Not only get depth, so when we have 135 football players, we don't have 50 wide receivers and 27 running backs, and only 15 offensive linemen. So we want to be balanced across their board there. Area of need for us, with Danny Sanchez graduating and Madrid Steele going to graduate, is we lose a starting left tackle and a right guard. So being able to bring in some of those guard bodies and tackle bodies into our football program, I think we were able to accomplish that. We had 3 senior running backs, actually 4 senior running backs that will graduate and move on, and a lot of them actually have aspirations to play past Ottawa University. And we had one young man decided that we weren't the right fit for him, and which left us with 2 freshman running backs on our roster who didn't play for us last season. So running back was a huge area of need for us. The wide receiver position wasn't. We had a bunch of freshmen that played for us last season, so we felt really good there. The tight end position, we return all of our tight ends on our roster, so we felt pretty good there. We were able to sign a few guys that we really like. In terms of our defensive line were really deep at the defensive line position, so our defensive line class wasn't that big. So we were able to get kind of positions and guys that we really liked. Linebacker, kind of the same thing. We had a lot of depth, so we were just trying to bring in some really good skill guys at the linebacker position. And then defensive back was a huge need for us in terms of depth and replacing a guy like Kevin Wade and Kyle Reynolds. So not only were we able to get ourselves in a situation where we'll be able to be five deep at defensive back, we also brought in phenomenal players at the defensive back position. We were able to bring in actually a kid who will punt for us next year, and then another kid who's a phenomenal punter and kicker from Joseph, Missouri. And then, obviously, you probably wouldn't let me not talk about the quarterback position. We were able to bring in some really good quarterbacks. Actually, one of them is going to come in and on spring 2 and be able to participate in our spring football. And then we have a running back that transferred in from IMG Prep Academy that's going to join us for our spring session as well. So definitely really excited about our class. We kind of hit every area of need that we wanted. We got really good football players across the board, and we were able to get phenomenal human beings also that we think we can develop.
Do you feel like that some of these young men are going to be able to come in and contribute right away to the football program?
Yeah, it's hard to say. We think on an evaluation, there's probably 10 to 12 guys to come in and contribute. And we probably thought that was the same last year. We had 6 guys play on defense for us as freshmen. We had really 3 offensive guys, 4, I guess, offensive players play as freshmen for us in our program. So we had 10 guys, and we thought probably 10 to 15 guys could play for us. So I think, based on areas of need, there's going to be some guys that have a really good opportunity. I think the unique thing is these guys finished their senior high school football season, and for again almost this whole entire class are incoming high school seniors that will be freshmen next year. Not a big transfer class. Haven't done a lot of transfer operation, but these guys are done playing football in November, December, and they don't play football or really work out with a football team until July, where our team picked back up together in January. And for the next 7 months, we're going to work, with the goals we have. So I think it's really hard for a freshman to come in and build that trust with the coaching staff. Because for the next 6 months, we're trying to beat that guy out while he's not even on campus.
But it's fair to say that if the need arises, they'll have their opportunities. As you mentioned, there were several played last year. Out of this group, who what excites you the most about this group? Let me ask that first.
Yeah, recruiting the offensive line and being the offensive line coach, I think those dudes would probably be very upset if I didn't say that they excite me the most. So I'm really, really excited about this group of offensive linemen coming in. I think we got some guys from coast to coast that are going to be really, really good football players for us. We're lucky we were able to get 2 guys here from the state of Kansas. We were able to get a young man from Florida, Jacob Jones, who I think is going to be a complete freak, if he continues to do everything right. We got a young man, Carson Garrett from Utah, who is a really, really good football player. Kalen Johnson from Texas, I think, is a really good football player for us. Chase Gedry is from Manville High School in Houston. We got some big, big boys that are really, really talented on film. So I'm really, really excited about the class of offensive linemen. Again, I'm not mentioning them all, but I think think all of them are really good. I'm really excited. And what I'm really excited for is in 4 years when these offensive line guys are all seniors, because I think this could end up being one of the best if they all stick together and they all work really hard. Could be one of the best offensive lines the school's ever seen if they're able to continue and work hard and get better and stay in school and become phenomenal teammates. So that's the group I'm most excited about. The Zach Dardine is one of the transfer quarterbacks. He played prep school football in Oklahoma, so he'll be here in a few weeks. So we're really excited about him. And then our guy Aaron Bird from IMG Academy. He played in Colorado and went to IMG prep school. So he's another running back that will be on campus. So those dudes I'm really excited about. They'll be here in 2 weeks. But outside of that, the offensive line class. And then I'm forgetting my guy, Taylor Eggers, who's our transfer quarterback from William Jewell that Coach Anderson coached. So really those are our three transfers. So we're really excited about those two quarterbacks and the running back Boyd to get into our system and see what we can do, because running back and quarterback are two huge positions, because we're pretty much bringing back almost every other starter on our team from last season besides our quarterback, our running back, and then, with Danny Sanchez graduating, our left tackle in Madrid Steel. But we got seven starter offensive linemen last season, and at least five of them are planning on returning. I know that Danny Sanchez and Madrid Steel have an opportunity to come back to do grad school, so I got to figure out exactly what their plans are. I know they're both trying, but we may have seven offensive linemen coming back and adding this phenomenal football class. So really excited about the O-line class.
Got just a few minutes left here in our time together. So I got to know, did you do anything special for Valentine's Day? It wouldn't be a podcast without discussing some food and such.
Yeah, me and the wife just stayed at home and made we just took some chicken breast. We got a Costco membership, so we went a few weeks ago and probably got 13 pounds of chicken, I think, tenders for $2.99 a pound, which was a great deal. So, but when you have all that bulk chicken, you got to cook it. So probably some chicken leftovers tonight. But we had that. We put panko breadcrumbs on it and baked it. And then my wife's on a big kind of Asian noodle kick. So we cooked some of that and then had some teriyaki sauce, had some vegetables. So that's what we did for dinner last night. And then luckily, we did the Glacier Clinic. So we went down and had a county line or Ice House or whatever the Joe's secret restaurant is down at Power and Light Center. So we were able to take the coaching staff there. So home cooked meal for my wife for Valentine's Day, but we went to the Glacier Clinic and we ate really good with my staff. So definitely been eating a lot of really good food lately.
Fantastic. That you can't beat that. So now as we look forward here, you got spring ball coming up. We've got along with St. Patrick's Day. So maybe when we talk again around spring ball, after spring ball, you'll have to tell us about your St. Patrick's Day feast.
Will do, Bob. But we appreciate it and everything you do for Ottawa University Braves football. And we look forward to talking to you here in a few weeks.
I appreciate it. That is head coach Nick Davis of your Ottawa University Braves. I'm Bob Johnson. Thanks for listening to us. We'll talk to you again soon.